morning. My name is Lori and I'm looking forward to sharing this practice with you. We'll get started in a seated position with legs crossed or whatever feels comfortable, with our hands resting on our knees, with a group collective breath to my count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay with this 4-count breath for the next few breaths. And after your last exhale, return to your regular belly breathing, letting go anything outside of this room, coming to our mats, remembering that if a pose isn't for you, you can come to child's pose or lay back in savasana. Taking a moment to roll our wrists in circles. Then change to the other direction. Stretching out your fingers. And release. And as we release from this pose, we'll turn to one side of our mat, keeping your legs bent, slowly lowering yourself down to your back, then bringing your right leg over your left thigh with your foot flexed, then reaching through your legs and on the outside of your left leg, hold your foot, stretching your hips. Then release, bringing both knees into your chest. Placing the right leg down, Crossing the left leg over your thigh, flexing your foot to protect your knee. Then bringing your arms around your right leg and hold. Then releasing both legs back down to the ground, turning to one side. Then using your hand to push you back up to seated. Crossing our legs with our arms on the mat. We'll start with some neck rolls in one direction. And reverse. Returning to center, then placing both of your hands under your shins, round your back, bring your shoulders away from your ears, chin to chest, camel pose. And release, turning to the side, coming back down onto the mat with your knees bent, arms spread wide like airplane wings, then dropping your knees to the right side, looking towards the left and twist. Then returning everything to center, allowing your knees to fall to the left, turning your face towards the right and twist. Returning everything to center, then turning to the side, using your hand to bring you back up to seated. We'll start with our left leg out towards the end of the mat, bringing your right foot over your thigh, then holding your knee with your left hand, placing your right behind your back and twist. And unwind. Straightening your right foot, bringing your left foot over your thigh, using your right arm to cradle your knee, placing left arm behind your back and twist. and release. Then coming back into a cross-legged position, placing your left arm down on the mat, bringing your right arm up over your head, looking up. And release. Bring your right elbow to the right side, left arm towards the sky, looking up, and reach. And release. Then straightening both legs. We'll do some ankle bending, taking turns pushing your foot down towards the floor while the other foot comes towards your belly, and switch. And some ankle rotations, twisting your ankles around in circles in one direction. And switch. And release. Then bringing your knees around onto the mat, coming into a tabletop pose. We'll lift our chin and face towards the ceiling, arching your back, looking forward for cow. Then bringing chin to chest, rounding your back and pushing through your hands for cow. Then we'll continue in this cat-cow motion for the next few breaths. Then coming back to a tabletop position, we'll bring our hands forward as we allow our hips to come down to the mat, looking up with your feet facing down. If you need to come to your elbows, that's okay too. It's just important that you flex your back. Then bringing our hands back, coming to table and hold. Then raising your right arm up and putting it through your wrist and your knee, bringing your shoulder down to the mat, left hand at a right angle, looking up towards the sky. And release. Coming back to table, lifting the left arm, sending it through, looking up towards the sky, and hold. And release. Then bring your knees as wide as the mat, big toes together. Send your hips towards your heels, forehead to the mat, arms out straight. Then lifting back up to table, curl your toes under, send your hips towards the sky, down dog. Then walking your feet forward, slowly coming up to standing. In mountain pose, taking a breath, then folding at the waist, bringing your forehead towards your thighs, feet, arms towards the mat, keeping your knees bent if you can't reach the ground. Then spreading feet, keep hip width distance apart. Bringing your hands to your elbows for ragdoll pose. Swaying back and forth, left and right. Then release. Bringing feet close together, coming up one vertebrae at a time. Mountain pose. Making sure your feet are hip width distance apart. Sending your arms out parallel with the ground. Then sitting back like you're sitting in a tiny chair. Making sure that you can see your feet past your knees. Then allowing your arms to come to your sides, pushing up through your feet. Bringing your feet together, arms up overhead, looking back, arching your back as much as you can. And release. Coming into warrior one. Bringing your right foot forward, your left foot back at a 45-degree angle, your knees bent. Bringing both arms up overhead. looking up and hold. Then turning your back leg to the side, bringing your arms down, looking over your front fingertips, warrior two. Bringing your left hand behind your back, turning the front palm, bringing it over your head, reversing your warrior. Releasing your hands. Stepping your feet back together. Stepping your left foot out, right foot at 45 degrees. Bringing both arms up overhead. Releasing your hands, turning your back foot at a right angle, bringing your hands on either side, looking over your fingertips. Bringing your right hand behind your back, flipping the front palm, bringing it over your head, close to your ear, and hold. And release, stepping your feet close together, then taking your right foot towards the side, your left foot right degrees, placing your hands behind your back, bringing your face towards your leg, and hold. Standing back up to center, bringing the right foot in, taking the left foot out, putting your hands behind your back and stretch. And release. Taking the feet wide, toes pointed a little bit inwards, hinging at the waist, wide leg forward bend, bringing your head as close to the mat as you can. Maybe you put your hands down. Then bringing legs together, coming down to seated. However is best for you. Bringing the bottom of your feet together, holding on to your ankles, sitting with a straight spine. Maybe you push your thighs down a little bit with your elbows. Full butterfly and hold. Then bring your right foot in, straightening your left foot out, bringing both arms up overhead, turn towards your foot and reach for your toes, bending at the knee. If you can't, bring your head to your knee. Coming back to seated, extending the right leg, bringing the left leg towards your thigh, bringing arms overhead, turn towards that foot and reach for your toes. Coming back up to seated, bringing legs together, feet flexed, removing your sit bones, bringing arms up overhead, hinging at the waist, reaching for your toes, bringing your face towards your thighs, forward fold. And release, bringing both knees back around to tabletop position and hold. Coming into some cat-cows, rounding your back, bringing your chin towards your chest, then arching your back, looking forward, and repeat. Coming back to table, tucking the feet under, sending your hips towards the sky, downward dog. Walking the feet forward, coming back up to standing slowly, bringing your feet together, hands at heart center. Releasing your hands, bringing your right foot forward, left foot back. Warrior 1. Warrior 2, turning the back foot, bringing arms out wide. Bringing left arm behind the back. Turning the back foot 45 degrees, reversing your warrior. And release, bringing your feet together. Stepping the left foot out, right foot at 45 degrees, arms by your ears, palms facing each other. Opening up to Warrior 2. Bringing your left arm behind your back. Bringing your right arm behind your back. Flipping the left palm up. Reverse your warrior. And release. Bringing your feet hip-width distance apart. Arms out parallel. Sitting back into a little chair pose. Releasing your hands, coming back to standing, bringing both legs together, then bending at the knees, bringing your arms to heart center, take your left elbow, hook it over your right knee, bringing your hands together, revolve chair twist. Then releasing to the other side, bringing right elbow towards left knee, twist. Unwind, coming back to standing, bringing both arms overhead, bringing your chest out and looking up. Then hinging at the hips, coming to forward fold. Bringing your hands to your calves, face towards your knees. Then bending your knees, coming down to the mat. With legs crossed, Hands resting on your knees, and breathe. Then coming and bringing your legs to the side of the mat, lowering down to your back as easy it is as you can. Then bringing both feet up and grabbing the inside of your feet for happy baby, bringing your knees in towards your elbows. Then bringing your knees into your chest, allowing your feet to come down to the ground. Coming back up to a seated pose, bringing the bottoms of your feet together, bound angle. Then bringing both legs out, using your hands to keep your back straight, staff pose. Then coming down onto your belly, placing the tops of your feet down. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders. We'll come up for cobra and lift. Pushing back into tabletop position. Bring your legs around, leaving the right leg bent, left leg out, and then we'll bring our left hand towards our foot, right arm up overhead, revolve head to knee. And release, straightening the right leg, bringing the left leg in, sending your right arms towards your feet, left arm overhead, and reach. Coming back up to seated. Sending both legs out in front, bringing both arms up overhead, hinging at the waist, reaching for your toes. Coming back to seated, turning to the side of your mat, straightening your legs, bringing your back down to the floor, bringing your right foot up towards your face and holding your calf, keeping your left foot flexed. And release. Keep Keeping the right foot flexed, bringing the left leg up. And release. Bending at the knees, bring your heels towards your sit bones, coming into bridge. We'll lift our back up off the ground, keeping your knees together, clasping your hands together as you can, or leaving them out flat. And bringing yourself down one vertebrae at a time, taking your knees into your chest, and breathe. Allowing your feet to come to the mat, turning to the side, coming back up to seated, coming around into tabletop, keeping your feet down on the mat, lifting your left arm and sending it through, coming down to your shoulder and twist. And release, lifting the right arm and sending it through. And release. Then bringing your belly down onto the ground, taking your hands by your sides, we'll lift our feet and our head and lift. And release. Bringing your hands to your sides, pushing back to table, coming around onto seated. We'll bring our feet at a right angle, bringing your hands to the sides or holding your thighs for boat pose. And release, bringing your back down onto the ground. We'll bring our knees to our chest, then holding the right knee in, straightening the left leg, slowly bringing it down to the mat. Bringing your knee around your ribs towards your elbows. Then using your left arm to bring your right knee over to the left side, allowing the right arm to come down towards the mat, looking towards the right hand. Inhaling both knees back into your chest, holding on to the left leg, straightening the right leg and bringing it down to the mat, and hold. Using your right hand to take your knee to the right side of the mat, allowing the left arm to come down, keeping your shoulders on the mat. Bringing both knees back into the chest. Allowing them to come down, turning to your favorite side to push back up to seated. Sending your legs to the end of the mat and hold. Bringing both arms overhead, hinging at the waist, reaching for your toes, bringing your base towards your knees. And release. Then spreading your legs open as wide as you can, keeping your knees pointed up. Maybe you hinge forward, or you keep your spine straight, whatever's most comfortable for you, and hold. And release. Bringing the bottoms of your feet together, holding onto your ankles, maybe pressing down on your thighs, and hold. And release. Turning back towards the side. Bring your feet out straight, flowing your back towards the ground. Reaching your feet towards the ceiling and hold. Pulling your knees into your chest. Maybe you sway from side to side. Releasing your feet down towards the mat. Bringing your ankles towards your sit bones. Lifting your back up off the ground. Keeping your shoulders together. Bridge. Then lowering down, one vertebrae at a time. We'll bring the right leg over the left, keeping your foot flexed. Then reaching hands around your left thigh and hold. Let's bring our knees back into our chest and hold. Letting your feet come back down to the ground. Placing left foot over right, bringing your right thigh in and hold. Then releasing both feet back to the mat, bringing knees into the chest. Then sending your legs up towards the sky and slowly lowering them down towards the mat. Then coming into Savasana and breathe. Then turning over onto our stomachs. Bringing your arms out like wings, feet together, chin to mat, lifting head, hands, and feet off the ground. And release, pushing to the back of the mat. Bringing your knees wide, big toes together, sending hips towards heels, forehead to mat, arms out straight. Using your hands to push you up, bringing the knees and feet together, sending your seat towards the mat, forehead on the mat, arms down at your side. Pushing back to a tabletop position, spreading your knees hip-width distance apart, bringing your right foot straight back and your left hand straight forward, and we're going to lift and hold. And release. Bringing the left leg back, right leg arm forward, and lift. And release. Coming into some cat-cows. Then coming back to table, bringing both feet around, coming back into seated. Extending one leg forward, bringing the right foot over your leg, holding your knee and twist. Releasing the right leg forward, left leg over right, holding your knee and twist. And release. Bring both legs towards one edge of the mat. Bending your knees, coming back into boat pose with arms out straight or holding under your thighs. And release. Straightening your legs, bringing yourself down towards the mat. And when you reach the mat, letting your arms come to your sides, letting your feet come to your sides. Congratulations, you've made it to Savasana. We start to bring movement into our fingers and our toes, our wrists and our ankles. Maybe moving your neck from side to side. And when you're ready, turning to your favorite side to come to seated. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.